So all right, welcome to the episode 1 of One-on-One with Dave's Guitar Channel. Today I have a special guest. I have Miss Christina Wells. How are you?
Hello.
Now, Christina, I found you by I YouTube and was putting in the search for people who are covering a song called Neither One of Us Wants to Be the First to Say Goodbye.
Yes, by Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Yes, and I stumbled upon yours either second or third, and I wasn't impressed with the first two. And then I saw yours, and I was like, oh, hello. Someone can sing. Someone that emotes. Someone that has a natural voice to get across a song like that. It was great. And I thought to myself, this girl could put this song out today and make it a hit. The problem, of course, being most producers would try to ruin it and update the music instead of having it be. I mean, a guy like Maxwell could come in and produce. Oh, myself. Thank you. Thank you very much. Would come in and make it more organic as the record was. And then so I guess a flood of people from my channel came to you.
So many people. Like, I was laying in bed and my YouTube channel is just my name, and I just put covers out. Actually, that specific video was a submission because when I was on America's Got Talent, you've got to make videos to sing, to do song selection, and they were like, hey, send us some videos of things that you sing. And so after I was off the show, I have all these videos of me singing songs at my house, like in just normal clothes, no makeup, just chilling. And I was like, I'll put these up. So I got a notification and they were like, hey, you need to thank Dave. And I was like, okay, I didn't even think, what could that mean? But by the 30th guy who said that I need to thank Dave, I was like, who is Dave? Okay, let me go look this up. And you called me out in that podcast. You said, hey, y'all should check out this video. And like, that video had, let's say, maybe, 100, couple hundred views. Now it's gotten all this traction and people are watching it because of you. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. All I did was point out something that was there that's a gem. And I was like, everybody should check this out because John and I, who do that podcast, always talk about finding like interesting things where people are like, have you seen this person? This person's great. Or stuff like, how was Eric Clapton still considered great? We do like a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't mean to bash Clapton. But anyways, so apparently you've done America's Got Talent, which I had no idea at the time when I saw this. I'm just thinking this girl put out a video, and I really didn't know much else.
Well, yes, then I think that's what's so cool about the fact that you like the video is because, a lot of people follow me because they saw me on the TV show, but you genuinely just liked my performance and singing of the song, which is a huge compliment sans television marketing. So thank you for that. But
yes.
Yeah, I'm a Houston native, and I'm a single mom. I'm in my 40s, and I'm a registered nurse. Years of working as a nurse, and I'm the lady that might sing at my friend's wedding, or I might sing, but not a singer. I was not a professional singer. I had never really done anything major professional. I'd just done a couple of plays, musicals, really, just community stuff to have fun, and ended up getting the opportunity to be on America's Got Talent, and I made it to the semifinals, sharing my story of like trying again after not trying for so long to be a singer. And I was really blessed and lucky to make it all the way to the semifinals of the show. And it's changed my life. I quit nursing and I sing full time. And I've been singing full time and supporting myself solely as a singer and motivational speaker for almost a year and a half now.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. Coming from a cardiac nurse job,
right,
deciding to be a singer. Yeah. So I've been really lucky and really blessed. A lot of word of mouth. People saw me on the show. I talked a lot about my journey as a plus size woman, my journey as a woman who's half black, half white, and my journey as a woman who was told that she wasn't talented enough, not because I couldn't sing, but because of my package. Like, we
Sure.
just really can't cast you. You're not the size, you're not the look. And I have a very R&B, very what people call like a deep, dark, very, velvety, I guess, type of voice. But I look either Hispanic or like I'm from, an island. And so that has caused some confusion where people are surprised at how R&B my voice sounds. And that's actually also been kind of a hindrance. I've auditioned for stuff and they're like, you sound like what we want, but you don't look it. And so
Wow. Yeah, because I mean, I could totally see. I mean, just say with your age back in the '90s when like bands like who did that song "Keep on Moving," "Soul to Soul,"
yes, keep
and
on
I think
moving. Yeah.
and I think even Karen Wheeler was a larger woman. I mean, she
Yeah, but
wasn't like your typical.
the thing that I think whenever I was younger, it was more about pop music was a huge thing. It was Britney Spears, it was Christina
Sure.
Aguilera, it was pop, 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 pop. And even like Gwen Stefani, like look at the women that were really your people that you were looking at, they were stick thin.
Yeah.
And so when you say bigger, I mean, you're talking like even someone like, even Lisa Stansfield, who was popular at the time, maybe she was a size 10 or something versus some of these other women who are a 2 and a 0.
Oh yeah,
And
no,
I'm
but I
walking
think
in,
Karen Wheeler was a lot larger than Lisa
was
Stanfield.
she?
Oh yeah, she was, and she did "Back to Life."
Yeah. Oh, I
Back
love that song.
Yeah,
That
I
song.
think in England they had a different thing going on also during that time because we had a lot of pop in the '90s, and England had this huge surgence of R&B and soul, and they called it acid jazz, and it
Yes.
was a mix of house music mixing it with '70s soul.
Yes.
So
And
there's a
the
lot of
R&B
great
voice.
bands like Incognito and Ross Stylus and Brand New Heavies that were great. And India, who sang for the Brand New Heavies, also did like background singing on a lot of records. She worked with Guru but I could totally see, I mean, even today, you still could go out. You have the type of voice when you hear it, people are closing their eyes, raising their hand and testifying.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
No,
So,
but it's true. It's
so
like there's a natural thing. And there was, I'm going to be 100% honest with you because that's how I run my mouth and it's not good. But I saw your video of an original song and I
mhm.
did not like the production because the production was like this modern sound, and your voice is more of a silky soul. You know what I mean? It's like no matter what you do to Lou Rawls, you're not
Yeah,
going to put him with a drum machine. He
right.
needs to be with that band that also is, that's playing that type of groove where he could be like, Lady Luck,
Yes.
you're really.
Yes. Well, and I think what you're saying, I mean, I don't take it a negative way because it's really been a journey for me because I haven't been someone who has been singing in the public since she was young and has developed and figured out her identity really as an artist. I This is a new thing for me. Like I could save your life. I could teach you about cardiac catheterization. I could teach you how to put in an arterial line, but which type of genre of music should I sing? What should
Right.
my artist package look like? It's really been a journey and a learning lesson every day because you're right. I have such an old voice. People are like, I've had so many people ask me to do an Etta James tribute concert.
Sure.
Or we want to hear you sing, all of this older R&B and soul music. And I love that music. I love to sing that music. But as I'm trying to create new music for myself, what should it sound like? What should it be like? What's the vehicle that best fits the voice that I have? Because my voice is not, it's not a voice that you can like try to constrain or change. Like it is what it is.
Well, see, the thing is, and this is just, I think music is cyclical and everything goes around and around. And I think if you put together, like, I mean, if you look at the '80s music, I
Yeah.
don't know if you were around in the '80s, or you were probably very young.
No,
But
I
when you
was
had bands like
yeah.
Spandau Ballet and they're doing So True, Funny How It
Oh
Seems,
yeah, yeah.
Always, right? That song is kind of like a Motown nod. It was like a throwback to them, but if you listen to it the second you hear it, you're like, "Oh my God, that's so '80s." When they play it, they think to themselves, "Oh my God, we're ripping off the '60s."
Oh, So
Do you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
And there's a lot of bands that did that in the 80s that ripped off the 60s. Naked Eyes, when they came out doing Always Something There to Remind Me,
Yeah.
they came
Yes.
to the States. And Peter Byrne used to shop at the store I used to manage. I used to manage a store in Los Angeles called West LA Music. And we were talking about that song. He goes, you know what's funny? When I came to the States, they were asking me how I wrote the song. And I'm like, it's a Burt Bacharach song. Where have you guys been? It's been a hit for like 4 different people. Nobody remembered it.
Yeah.
It was in the
The
60s.
repurpose. The repurposing. Yeah.
Dionne Warwick did it. Jose Feliciano did it. It's
You're a music dictionary.
no, but I'm just saying people forget that happened. So I think if you went out and you found like, who was really good is there was a guy named, do you remember Gino Vanelli?
Mhm.
Well, I'll tell you 2 things. First of all, the guy was like the Italian stallion of the 70s.
Okay.
And I saw him live in the 90s, and he was, an older guy. He's an older guy now, and he's probably in his 50s or 60s. Then when I saw him, and he was telling the story how he went to Brazil, and some guy was like, "Oh my God, every woman wanted to be with you in the 70s. How did that feel?" And he goes, "It felt effing great." But the thing about Gino was, he did the song, "I Just Wanna Stop and
yes.
tell you what I feel about you, babe." Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he had a hit right after that with "I am lost, living inside myself."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he had the best musicians. I mean, on "Living Inside Myself," Vinnie Colaiuta's playing drums and Neil Stubbenhaus is playing bass. I mean, he had all the great players. So he comes out in the 2000s and he's got a full jazz band.
Yeah.
And he's doing jazz versions of his songs. And it was like nightclubbish because now no one goes to see him. So he was like, I want to play more to the clubs. And he's doing this. Now he's kind of gone around full circle back to a little bit more pop sounding. But I just think with you, I would take as much organic, kind of like Maxwell sound off of his first album and take as much and make it as clean as possible and just let your voice. That's what I would do with it, because I just think you have like, as soon as you stop putting it around of this Pro Tools sounding, anything that sounds like it's to a click or that it just lacks a groove, it gets a little cold for me. And then when you hear like a real warm voice in that, it makes it colder as well. It takes that out. There's something to be said for that stuff that's just played more organic. But
Makes
yeah.
sense.
So now, what did you? So you got on the show. Now, how did that go?
I mean, it was great. One of the big things for me is that Simon Cowell has never been accepting of anyone plus size on any of his reality shows that he's done, and he very, very much was a advocate of me, regardless of my size, and said so. He was like,
Right.
Anyone who is judging you and your voice based on your size is an idiot. And he was a big proponent for me, felt that I could be a successful Broadway performer. He felt that I was a soul singer and said that I could have a very successful career performing. And what I've learned is, as much as my time on the show was great for people getting to know me and for people to learn who I was, learn about my children, about my journey. And, America's Got Talent is an inspirational show. They want to bring people on that will inspire you to remember what the human spirit can do. And that was great for me as far as people getting to know me. But Simon saying I can sing has what has vetted me going out into the world and people hiring me, and they all say it. They're like, Simon said, like everyone says it to me.
Yeah.
Simon Cowell said you could sing. Simon Cowell said you could sing. Who's your favorite judge? Because Simon Cowell, everyone brings him up. He's more. People don't realize either they love to hate him or they love to love him, but everybody loves him. So
well, he's completely blunt, like people should be. I agree with and yeah, I mean, he gets when someone connects to when a singer sings and you see that singer, like when you sang Neither One of Us, and you connect with the song and you're getting emotional with the song, people are like, Oh, wow. I mean, it's moving, and that's what music should do. It needs to take you somewhere, and it's like take you along for the ride. I'm curious, like, so when they told you, hey, listen, we're gonna have you on the show, did they fly you out? Did they set all that up?
They
That's
do, yeah. They do. Well, so the show airs from Memorial Day to Labor Day, basically. So from the last week of May to about the second week of September, but you film about 60% of the show early spring. So I had gone and auditioned in November of the year before. Then in the spring, about March, well, actually January, they contacted me and they said they wanted to have me audition for the celebrity judges. And then you start song selection, you're emailing, communicating about what wardrobe, all of that. And then they fly you out. And the first audition is at the Pasadena Convention Center. And so, you go, you stay in a hotel and you do that, which is more of like, the cattle call style where you're all
hmm
there, a bunch of people,
Yeah.
hundreds of people are brought in. And then I made it through that. I got my yeses. And then I went to the judges' cuts.
When you are doing that, are you aware of people around you who are there just for the comedic aspect of the show? Like
Well,
you're
like,
like
I
that.
mean, you could see it. Like I was waiting in the waiting area and there's a guy there who had a baby, like a baby decoupage paper mache pinata baby he had built that looked like a demon,
Right.
and he had it in a stroller, and you're like, obviously this is not, you know what I mean? Or like
Right.
there
Shtick.
was a really nice man there who was a white man dressed as Michael Jackson, and then he painted his face white and he hula hooped.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
you're like, this
Yeah.
feels like, but then there were some people, I will say that it was sadder because there was one particular young man who was a singer, and it was him and his parents there, and he had never trained. And you know how sometimes the children will sing opera or
Sure.
something like that, it's really fantastical. But he was like a teenager, and he was like, I went in and I decided to sing an opera song, and they told me that I was like this magical opera performer. And so whenever he auditioned, it was he was not like the wonder that he had been made to kind of believe he
Right.
was. So then his feelings are actually like hurt, and then you feel that those people I feel sad for. You know what I mean? Like those are the people that I feel like, oh man, that's sad. I don't really
Yeah.
get to feel bad for them versus people who are going into it that it's obvious
Now
that
let me
they
ask you
are.
this, because was Michael Grimm the winner of one of the seasons? Was that America's Got Talent?
I don't know. I don't know if he was the one. He wasn't the winner of my season.
No, no, this would have been a lot earlier. I think because I can't remember if I've seen the format of the show, and I remember Michael Grimm winning one of the shows. I really liked his voice. He had like
Oh,
a gruff voice
yeah.
for a guy. So okay, so they bring you now the song selection. I saw like one of your videos, and there was a piano. Was that a live pianist playing, or are they using like TV tracks?
No, no, no. Whenever I sang Never Enough with a live piano player.
Okay,
Uh, and he's a phenomenal piano player. And that piano player, he's actually also a producer for the little kids show where the kids sing with Steve Harvey. So yeah, those shows, a lot of those reality shows are connected. But he was a
right,
phenomenal artist. But yeah, he was
yeah,
live. Versus, you're right, there are other people who perform. Like when you see guitars and all that stuff, usually those are all actors.
right,
So
right. Yeah.
yeah, so
Well, I understand. I worked in TV and
so
production, so
yeah.
I know sometimes they'll use TV tracks. In fact, I'd say about 2013, I did a TV track for a kid that was going on that show to sing. I did the music for him.
You did it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and I have the tracks for my last two songs I did, and I mean, this is some of the best produced tracks I've ever had
right,
in
right,
my
right. And
life.
so what you use them when you go out and do
Oh,
like
I do. Yes,
yeah,
I do. Because some of the songs, like for example, I Know Where I've Been, beautiful song. It's a musical theater song, and it stands alone really well. Um, So you could sing a 5 minute of it and it's great. But like I Am Changing, which is a very story driven song, and you just really need certain parts. So I have this perfect 2 minute, 30-second track they made for me that is so rich and beautiful and layered. And when I go do fundraisers or galas or corporate gigs and they want me to give them that America's Got Talent performance, I got a 2 minute, 30-seconder for you that you don't need to know the whole story. And you can
Right.
feel the feelings. You can relive my America's Got Talent moment
Right.
with me. And then, so love
Nice.
that. Love those
Now when you
TV
go out
tracks.
and when you go out and perform, are you doing Neither One of Us? Are you still doing that song?
I do it sometimes, but neither one of us is. It's situational, like whether or not it'll work in an environment because it is sad and it is a slower song. But if I do like a full concert, I always add it
Yeah.
because, and one of the things you gave me language for when we talked about doing this interview is that it is a nostalgic song, and my voice. And I say this in all humility, my voice, it brings people feel feelings about my voice. Like I think some people's voices are like acrobatic and they could do runs and they could do all these amazing tricks. And people are like, wow, like especially like Celine Dion, she could do things and you're just like, that's so phenomenal. It's like acrobatic, her voice. And my voice, it doesn't do all those acrobats. Like I've tried doing more runs or I've tried playing with it more to different things, but it can be kind of unyielding that way. But it seems to make everybody feel feelings. If I'm going to sing a song, people are going to cry. You're right. People have their hands up. They feel the feelings when I sing.
Well, yeah, because your voice serves the song. Singing all the runs like Christina Aguilera, that's self-serving. And that's why I can never, like if someone said name a song where someone riffs and it's really good, I'd be like, I can't. But I can tell you all the songs where the singer served the song and it kills. We had a gig last week. I have a band called The Funk Station. And third set, we opened with Neither One of Us.
Yes.
And now we're playing dance music and people are dancing and we're like, we're going to open with a slow one. Let's hope this goes. And it went over the best song of the night.
Yeah, people love
People, they love it and it's nostalgia. And then people kept coming up to us. We didn't feel like we had a great show. And people came up and they were like, we're going to follow you everywhere because there's such nostalgia with songs like that. And I think there's also like I brought up to you the Gene Carnes song, Don't Let It Go to Your Head. I think there's also these hidden gems that were done. I mean, if you look at, what's that Thelma Houston song, Don't Leave Me This Way?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was originally Teddy Pendergrass when he was with Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, and it didn't really chart well for them. And so another producer said that song would be great for your voice, and he did it with Thelma Houston. And I think
she won a Grammy for it.
Oh yeah, and you can go and cherry pick some of those classic songs, and there's something about them. Like I was turned on to "Don't Let It Go to Your Head" by the Brand New Heavies, and then I found out that Brand Nubian, a rap band, also used the hook as a sample in their song. So I was like, oh man, it's there. It's I don't know if you noticed I'm white, and so there's a subculture.
I did notice that.
Yeah. So when I was 22. I joined an R&B band in a section of Boston called Mattapan that's all black. And they tell me a list of songs. I'm like, are these bands real? I've never heard of one of these. And I would name songs to them that was rock and roll radio, and they would look at me like I had four heads. Like, is that a real band? I'm like, are you guys kidding me? So it was such an awakening of like, oh my God, there's a whole subculture. So then I got into Parliament Funkadelic, and I got into Slave, and I got into Ohio Players and all these bands, and that's when I got deep into R&B, and there's some great stuff that when I mention it to people, they're like, yeah, I don't know that. But then if I'm in a more urban area and I mention it and they're like, are you kidding? I listened to it this morning. It's like, it's very funny. It's true. But then there's that universal stuff like the Spinners.
Oh yeah, the Spinners, yes.
I mean, that's just so universal. But I want you to listen to Maxwell, that album. I think you would really like it.
Yeah, I won't lie. I've taken notes on all the stuff you've suggested to me, and I was saying, like, I'm in a place right now where I've come off this reality show. People are interested in hearing me sing, When I sing at every event I sing at, and I'm being really transparent right now, people really go crazy over my voice.
Yeah.
And I have had these really great opportunities to sing songs that really make people feel things, but trying to figure out how to then turn that cover artist that in me that can give these songs life to create my own music and to create in my own artistry the sound that I want to share, that people will say, oh yeah, Christina Wells, when do you remember this song she had, or you remember that song she had, even if it's repurposing a song or even if it's writing a new one. I've been really struggling with that journey and figuring out what best serves my voice.
But are you trying to be a writer as well? Is that
I
what you're
am.
doing?
Well, I co-wrote "Ready or Not," the song
Oh,
you just
okay.
heard. I
Okay. So
wrote
you
it.
do
So
write.
yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Because I'm a writer as well. And I was going to say, do you really ever own the song? You know what I mean? Because Gladys Knight is known for those two big songs, Neither One of Us and Midnight
Midnight for
Train. And
sure.
they're both
Yeah.
written by the same guy. You know, he wrote both songs. And and also there's also something that to be aware of. And this is um, even though you emulate or in your mind when you're singing that song and you're like, I am Gladys Knight for these 4 minutes. You're not.
No, yeah.
You're Christina Wells, and everyone sees you, Christina Wells, singing it. And even though they hear the song and they reflect about it, if you do it enough, in other words, if that was a hit on the radio tomorrow, in 3 years, when people say neither one of us, they're going to say, "Oh, that's that Christina Wells song." They'll never say it was Gladys
What a
Knight.
crazy, that would be crazy. Could you imagine that?
That's what
That
I'm
would be
saying. Because
crazy.
you're
That would
not
be
think
amazing.
because the kids today who are 20 years old, if you say, "Do you know
Yes.
Gladys Knight?" They're going to be like, "No." And you could even say, "The girl," and that's what friends are for. They're going to be like, "What the
I
hell are you
know.
talking?"
Yeah. Well, whenever I've recorded Neither One of Us, and it's on Spotify and iTunes, okay? And when I have a band that I hire and I work with, and whenever I wanted to do Neither One of Us, they were like, huh? And so I literally had to like have them listen to I had to teach them about it
Right.
because they were just like, what? Like make my bass player knew, but nobody else did.
Yeah. Oh, and the bass is fun in that song. It's always
Mhm.
moving. I love
It
the
is.
bass
It's a
line.
great song. It is a
Yeah.
great song. And I've learned that instead of understanding maybe why people react, I'm like, when I sing this, everybody goes crazy. So I've made a list of songs that people really react to. And then when I
Yeah.
do my shows, that's what I sing and it works. Like people are like, oh, yes, 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 this song, I
Yeah.
love it.
Remember the
Yeah.
song Poetry Man?
Who's that by?
Phoebe Snow?
No, but you told me about this song.
That's a great song. It's
But like for
go
the
ahead.
song "Get Here" by Alita Adams, which
Great
was a
song.
cover for her. I sing that song. People love it when I sing that song.
Great.
Or even the song "There's Always Me" by Elvis. There's a remake of it where it's still the Elvis song, but it's just produced differently for this musical All Shook Up, and it makes it like it's a female alto song. I sing that. People have real feelings about that, and I'm like, okay. So it's these certain kinds of songs. Of course, it lasts. Anything Etta James, and I don't know if it's because I'm fair and I have blonde hair and I have an
Right.
R&B voice. That's immediately their go-to.
Yeah.
But I get Etta James like literally every day. Every day I get Etta James. I get referred
Yeah.
to. Oh, you should do Etta James. Do you sing it last? Do you sing any of I'd rather go blind? Do you sing? And I do sing these songs.
Yeah.
And people they really want to hear me sing these old songs.
It's funny because Etta James I just never connected with her music.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's sad. It's so sad.
well, I just don't know what it is, but when I hear it, it wasn't, I don't know if it's, it's funny. I just don't know if it was because it wasn't in my house growing up, like where the Gladys Knight stuff was. And,
Right.
I mean, I'm a child of the 70s. So when I think of songs in my head where your voice would sound good, I think of Car Wash.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think of those fun songs that I heard as a kid that have that soul. And Poetry Man was one of them. I mean, God, I even love all the old Tammy Terrell stuff that she did with
Oh,
Marvin Gaye.
yes. Of course. Yes. I sing all of that. Yes. And
Yeah,
another thing is that in my household, so I'm 44. So when I was a kid, I was born in 75, but my mother was a heavy, heavy disco and also like the Earth, Wind and Fire,
great.
Chic. and Le Chic, and
Yeah.
like that's what I cut my teeth on. And my mom, because I'm half black, half white, my mom is white, and she does not sing R&B. And so whenever she was helping cultivate my desire to sing, she has me singing with Donna Summer. And I mean, I can remember singing Donna Summer music as a young, like 4 years old, 5 years old, and I'm singing Donna Summer.
It's the
And
best.
even like was it Robin White? Is it Robin White? I'm not your superwoman.
Yeah, no, it's Karen White.
Karen White, yes. So like, just these are songs that I was singing as I feel
Yeah,
little
so you're a
girl.
child of the 80s, really, though.
Yeah.
Because
even
yeah,
when the 80s didn't come out, like the stuff you were listening, like Back to Life and like
yeah,
Lisa Stansfield, Been Around the World Tonight,
yeah, totally.
Like that was my stuff.
It's
right
great
there.
stuff. That's great stuff. And then there was when you said that Karen White song, it reminded me of, oh my God. I made a mix on, so there's a bunch of friends of mine I make mixes for on Spotify, and then I share it with them, and then they can listen to it wherever. And I made this list called this. You remember they had like a heavy metal one called "These Are the Songs That Taught You How to Love," and I'm like, oh yeah, they sure did.
Yes, the long
And then
hair.
so I did this one, the songs that taught me how to vomit, because when I hear them, I was already older, but girls that grew up in the 80s at your age, so all cried out.
Oh, yeah, every day, all day long. Yes.
Right.
Over you. Yes.
Apology. All this love is waiting for you.
For you. All day and all night.
Right. So I'll send you the mix because you'll love it. It's like a mix of all these songs.
Like, this is the greatest songs ever.
Oh, it's hilarious, right? Because they're the songs that that drove me nuts when I was in high school and or getting out of high school, and girls were listening to it. I'm like, you guys listen to this stuff? What was the other one? It was the guy and the girl, Atlantic Star.
Oh yes, and I sing this song, Atlantic Star. It's always
Girl, you are to me.
Yes, I sang that at my senior year talent show. More than a woman should be, and I dedicate my life to you always. Yes.
Right.
And I would practice. Oh boy, I love you so. I can't find enough ways to. I would practice and practice.
Oh, that's hysterical. But you know what song I love that was a duet, kind of a duet, is my all-time favorite. And they actually had two hits. Remember Champagne?
Yes.
Some people were made for each other. Some people can love.
How to love for life.
That's now you could.
About us?
Right, you could make a hit out of that. That could be your song. Could you imagine kids in the next 2 or 3 years going, "Oh, I love How About Us," that Christina Wells song? You'd be going,
"That's amazing."
They would never know who Champagne was. Remember, they also had a secondary hit called, which you could make a huge hit because it was never a hit, but it was, "I gave you some roses, some rum, and baby, we can try again."
I love that song.
I do too. Try to the minor four. I love it.
I love it. That's awesome. Those
are the greatest songs ever.
Yes, they are.
Those are great.
Or even
All Cried Out, not so much.
I know, but or even like Rocksteady. Do you remember that song?
Oh, you talking about? Don't tell me. The Whispers.
Yes, so good.
And they also did, and the beat goes on.
Yes, I made a tape of that song 6 times on one side, and I listened to it every day of junior high, walking to junior high every day. I would walk to the beat to it.
And the funny thing was, they were older by then, weren't they?
Oh yeah,
I think they were older guys.
I researched recently about it because I was like, some of these songs that I love, why do I love them? What is it that's making me feel the feelings I have about it? And how can I figure out how to put that into what I'm writing and what I'm creating? And so I was doing research. Yeah, it was a late retry song for them.
You know what else you don't hear much anymore, which I was talking about with someone the other day, was songs that have the spoken intro.
Oh, yes.
The saddest day of my life.
What? Hey,
Yeah,
did you hear
Rob,
it?
like,
Ready or
just,
not? On Ready or Not, the ending, I did a spoken
oh,
outro on
you
Ready
did?
or Not.
You know the one
Hey,
I'm doing, like, Hello, Kiss and Say Goodbye by the Manhattans? I
yes,
saw you yesterday. I'm gonna miss you.
yes.
Or,
That's
okay, so your heart's been broke.
these are great music. This is great music.
Yeah. Remember that one, though? Everybody plays the fool.
Oh yes,
Uh,
that's a great song. Who's that by?
that main,
Everybody plays the fool
that was Cuba
sometimes.
Gooding Sr. You'd sit there crying, crying. You talk about dying
Are you
before
sure
you
you're not black,
get
Dave?
anything crash. Dig this. Everybody. Oh, it's the greatest. You know what else was a great another song that it disappeared. No one ever talks about. You do it, it'll be a huge smash.
What?
Sideshow. Step right
Sideshow.
to the saddest show in town. Step right up. Hurry, hurry. Da, 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 da. And the hook is let the sideshow begin.
Oh yes. I recognize that.
Oh, I love that
I'm
song.
gonna write that down. Hold on, let me get my pencil.
Yeah, sideshow. And there was also another great song called by a band called Bloodstone, Natural High. Take to the sky on a natural high.
I don't know that
See
one.
the love in it, da, 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 da. Oh, he does all the oh, it's great. They were an LA band in the 70s called
Oh
Bloodstone.
yeah, no, that one I'm not know that
Oh yeah. Oh, it's such fun stuff.
one.
People who know me will know this. I never tell people they have a gift. I never say that they're talented because talent is a lot of work. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's they
Yeah.
don't, and I feel like it belittles. But you do have a gift, and that gift is you were gifted with the voice of that classic R&B sound. You could, some people want to come out and they're like, I'm going to sing classic R&B, and they come out and sing, and they're like, yeah, let's put a drum machine on this. Let's put her in auto tune. Let's fix this up. Put her in a push-up bra. We'll throw her out there and try to sell her as R&B, and it's terrible.
Right.
But I think you could bring back some, real music. I want you to check out that Maxwell album because that's the
Okay.
kind of band I think that should be behind you, especially songs like "Till the Cops Come Knocking."
Okay. What is that Sharon? It's a she's a soul singer. Oh because she has a song till they beat down the door, or something like that. She does every. Oh, what is her name? Sharon? Is it Sharon? She's like a funk group.
Oh,
Mm.
there was a
It was like,
Shannon.
is it
Was it a Shannon?
Shannon?
No.
I think
Who didn't let the music play?
no,
That
not the.
Shannon?
I know who you're talking about. Let the music play. We won't get away. Hold on,
Oh,
let me
you
look it.
also probably grew up on Debbie Deb, huh?
What's
When
that?
I
Who's
hear
that?
music, I got to dance. When I hear
Yes,
music.
yes. But I didn't like that song. But yes, it was there when I was
Oh,
young.
okay.
And I was big on I love the Tevin Campbell and SWV and
Yeah, the 80s.
that was stuff I loved, but I don't. My voice doesn't work on it.
Yeah. What about, do you remember, I think I brought it up to you, but do you remember Tone Loc had that song Chiba Chiba?
Chiba.
It's all it's
Mm,
doing is talking about smoking weed, and then the girl in the background's like, I got the Chiba,
no, I
Chiba,
don't know that song.
Chiba. Oh, it's India Davenport singing that.
It's Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings.
Oh, I don't know it.
Okay, so this is a funk band, and this has
Wait,
been
what's
a
the name of the
reference.
band?
Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, DAPKINGS.
Oh, I'll look it
And
up.
she has a song that's she's passed away, but she has she's been someone people have told me about,
Yeah.
saying that she's a because she did some of that, the 6/8 time where it's like dum 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 dum, like
Well,
that
6/8 is
style.
one.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
But that slow 6/8, and
sure.
she
Right.
has that's something people have said that I should do. Like when you're
Yeah.
talking about the Maxwell album, this is a style of music people have said that I should do. But yeah, she has this song called, oh, what is it? So when you said that, I was like, oh, I can hear some of the things that she has done, and people like really. She has like a cult following. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? She
Do you
wasn't
have a
like a.
voice to get people to dance? Do you try to get people to dance? Because I could hear you doing "Shame" by Evelyn Champagne
Oh
King.
yeah, of course. Or I've sang To Be Real. I sing
Oh, Cheryl Lynn, yeah.
I sing I Will Survive, but it's a fatter, But yeah, I sing
Yeah.
I Will Survive. And then also
What
To
was
Be
her? She had
Real.
another hit too, right? Oh, I Never Can Say Goodbye. Was that her?
Yeah, I never can say goodbye, girl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Uh and then of course I sing Donna Summer because I love it.
Oh,
And
she's the best. Heaven knows.
yes,
Baby,
Last Dance is my
please.
favorite song. I've asked to sing it.
What
It's my
is?
Last Dance.
Yeah, 1979 or
Yes.
78. I remember that when that
Well,
came
and
out.
I was 3, and
Yeah.
ooh, like that is printed on my brain.
I think she almost did that same melodic line at the beginning of "It's raining, it's pouring,
Oh yes,
my
my
love life is
life is
boring."
boring me to tears.
Oh, it's a great one. You know what's another great song by Barbara is a song called "The Love Inside," and it's
Yeah.
produced by Barry. It's on that Guilty album. But another song I was going to tell you that I put on that mix was "Make It Real" by the Jets.
Oh yes, yes. I was at the Jets played the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo in 1980 whatever, and it was my first concert ever in my whole life.
That's hilarious.
Like this.
I can rock it to you. Oh, da.
Love,
Right?
love the Jets.
Ooh,
Love.
I got a crush on you. Oh,
Oh
great stuff.
yes, got a crush. Oh yes, I'm gonna
Also, I
have to
put on
listen
the
to
mix "Lead Me On." Remember Maxine Nightingale? Ooh, lead me on.
it. Oh, I don't know that one.
It was Maxine Nightingale. It was a big hit for her in like '81. She's the one that did "Well, It's All Right Where We Started
Yeah,
From. We Gotta Get Right."
right back to
Yeah,
where we started.
yeah. That's another great one.
Those are great songs.
Yeah, it's very funny. Oh yeah, Secret Love. You know what's another one? Remember the song "Nice Tea"?
Of course. What do you mean remember? I listened to it yesterday. Yeah, of course I know that song.
Right. And what was the other one she did? Do 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 do.
Yes. Um, oh my gosh.
Oh, what the hell's the name of that? "Nice Tea" was the second. I love that though. Some people think I'm nice.
Some people think I'm nasty. Yes.
I say I'm nice tea.
They call me- and then the rap, they call me nasty or whatever you want to call it.
That is so 80s, right around 90. The other song was that she did. Let me just see. Not Girlfriend. That was Pebbles.
That was Pebbles.
Oh yeah, Sukiyaki was a great song by A Taste of Honey.
Oh, Taste of Honey.
But they did. Da 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 ba ba da. That was called
Yes.
Sukiyaki. Da da da
Yeah, but
da.
yeah, call because of you.
Oh,
I'm feeling sad and blue.
yeah,
You went away. Now my life is just a rainy
yeah. That was like
day.
originally a Japanese pop song
Really?
called Sukiyaki, and they covered it. Yeah. I got one here. I know you would. Oh, "No More Lies" was the Michelle Lay song.
Oh yes, Michelle. Yes, No More Lies.
Uh,
Like I know my girlfriend's in the room, like screaming the titles of these songs out in her head because she
how
knows
about
all of
remember the band The Deal?
them.
Two occasions.
Oh yes, of course. Like I love that. And we have friends who actually have a floral company, designing company, and it's called Two Occasions.
Oh, really? Night and Day, right?
Every time I think
There's
of
another
it,
song called wasn't it? Was it Al B. Shore that did "Night and Day"?
yeah, I think it was. I'll be sure that Night and Day.
Oh, it's great stuff. Yeah, see, to me, that stuff's timeless, and it's I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Blade Runner, but at the end, when Rutger Hauer's like, "All these memories will be lost like tears in the rain." It's a depressing thought. It's your obligation to get out there and redo them. That's why you have that voice.
All right. That makes me feel like
That is your
hopeful there.
purpose.
There's
What?
my purpose.
Yes.
To remind people about how it feels. So when you hear that good music.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
have
because I always say, I'm like, I
you
have this
say.
voice for a reason. I don't know what it is, but man, I need to find out what it is so I can do what I'm supposed to be doing with it.
I give guitar lessons to this girl. One day she's like, "Do you ever hear the song Cupcakke?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Well, don't listen to it now, but listen to it sometime." It was the most raunchy thing I've ever heard in my life. I was like, and it's like, and I remember thinking like when we were kids, we'd hear like a word in a song and we'd be like, "This is just straight out pornographic." I mean, it's hilarious. But yeah, so I mean, I just think that it would be nice to have, someone out there doing the deal.
Yeah.
People won't deny it. I mean, people love it.
Yeah, like I will say that it's been a struggle because I do get such a response at my live events that I don't know how to translate that into my recording artistry.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I do. I did a supper club. Okay, you ready for this? You're gonna love this. So, orchestra here, Richard Brown Orchestra, which is like an 8 piece, or actually probably a 10 piece. They wanted to do a supper club at a really well-known restaurant here in Houston. And so they hired me and a few other singers, and we did a love song series for Valentine's on Sunday.
Nice.
And I sang Etta James, of course. I sang Roberta Flack. I sang
Ah, there you
Sammy
go.
Terrell. I sang,
What
um,
Roberta Flack did you do?
I sang Killing Me Softly.
Oh, okay.
Um, I,
I
I
would have
sang
preferred Feel Like
Unforgettable.
Making Love.
Yeah, Philly making love. People, these are songs people love. Literally, when I said strumming, the whole place was like,
Yeah,
oh, like they get the feelings, right?
yeah,
And then I sang. They wanted "Shallow" because the owner he just likes that song and I
sure.
sing it.
Yeah.
I sing the duet, and then I sang "My Funny Valentine," but the Ella Fitzgerald version.
Oh, nice.
So, and people, I mean, we were singing Slow Boat to China and just all these really great old songs and huge response. And now they're doing it with different themes, but they're doing it the whole rest of the year. And so just that old music. And I'm like, I want
Yeah,
this response to the music I record. Like, how do I do this? And I
yeah.
think you're right. It's in finding these songs to cover
It is. It's finding
or
the
to
right song.
revitalize, repurpose.
Well, I'll tell you, when I was a kid, there was a song on Boston radio called No Secrets. And I had no idea who did it until maybe 10 years ago. And it was a band called The Angels out of Australia. And I was like, I never
Mhm.
heard of this. And then I found out that they also on the same album had this song called Face the Day that Great White recorded in the 80s. That was the only song I liked by Great White. And I find out that Great White's manager was a huge fan of the Angels and told the band they needed to do that song. And if you ask 99% of people who are like rock fans that they know the song, they're all going to say, yeah, it's a Great White song. There was some stuff in England that's interesting that never made it here, and in Australia that never made it here. But there's so many great songs out there. It's find a few of them and put them into your thing, and then kind of right in that vein. You
That
know,
style, yeah.
I mean, because if you think
Yeah.
about Barry Manilow's career, Barry Manilow, he was a songwriter, and he couldn't sell an album. And it wasn't until Clive Davis says to him,
Yeah.
"You need songs. You don't have a hit on this album." And he's like, "I want you to do this song." And it was Mandy, but it was originally called Brandy. It was a hit for a guy in England in 1971. It was a New Yorker who had moved to England, Scott English had a song called Brandy. If you look it up on YouTube, Scott English Brandy, you will hear Mandy sung with the name Brandy. But when Clive Davis asked him to do it, he told him, you got to change it because there's a song called Brandy by Looking Glass. Brandy.
Oh, yeah.
And so he
It's
changed it
so
to Mandy.
popular.
But if you look at Barry's career, most of his hits are not written by him. He only wrote a few songs in there. Um, in fact, when Barry kind of was like, "Yeah, I'm going to stop doing other people's songs," Clive was like, "Well, I'm going to save these beautiful songs I find, and I'm going to go find a singer." And that's when he went out and found Whitney.
Really?
Yeah, He had all those songs, and he was like, I need to go find a singer. He was telling people he needs to find a singer, and someone said, you got to go see Sissy Houston's kid. She's singing at this club. And he talks about, there's a great movie you should watch. It's called Clive Davis, The Soundtrack to Our Lives. You can see
Oh,
it on
okay.
Netflix. It's fantastic.
Okay.
But he was very important in music, I think, in the 70s, putting people together. And then, he tells all these stories. After you see it, you'll be like, does this guy Dave have an original thought? He just seems like he
No.
repeated back the movie. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So what is it for you? How many shows are you doing a week at this point? Or a month?
In a week, I do probably between 3 to 6 shows a
Wow.
week.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Oh
that's
no.
impressive.
Or like in a week. This weekend, I have 3 shows. Or
That's
I
great.
I work really steady.
Yeah.
I have my January is a little slower, like the first 2 weeks, but then the last 2 weeks, I'll work steady through till May, and then the summer. I have really right now the summer is empty, and I've got to figure out. I like to do musical theater in the summer though because people travel, and that works better than the show styles that I usually do. But it's just finding a good show that I can stick with all summer that can, pay well and all the details of that. But then it
Yeah.
comes back again in the fall, all the fall galas and all the fall shows. And then November to December is insane. I do more shows. I do shows every day. Sometimes, like this past December, I did 3 weeks straight without a day off. Last December, I think I did 37 days straight. I
Wow.
mean, we're talking or singing
That's
every
great.
single day.
And
Yeah.
how does your
And
voice hold up? You no
I
problems.
take I really try to take immaculate care of my voice. I'm cognizant. I don't run my air conditioner in a car. I don't speak at restaurants where the volume is higher. I watch the dairy. I don't eat fried foods. I don't drink any alcohol. I don't drink any Coca-Cola or brown soda because that higher level of acid can cause wear and tear or cause you to have reflux. I drink water religiously. I do vocal rest if I even start to feel like I'm getting raspy. I've really worked on exercises. I have a vocal now because before I just sang for fun and it was no big deal. But now that I'm
Sure.
really using it, I mean I really work at taking care of it. I
Nice.
really work at taking care of it. I've seen a complete difference. I used to smoke, of course, like other
Right.
people back in the day. I quit smoking, I guess now. What year is this? It's 2020. So I quit smoking 7 years ago, and I quit drinking alcohol about 2.5 years ago. And I mean, every day I see my voice improve because of those things I don't do. And some people really struggle with. They're like, "Come to karaoke," and I'm like, "No, I can't go to a place where." There's no monitors and you're just kind of yelling because it's fun
Right.
because I'll have real issues with that later on. And so
Yeah.
just but I find that if I do all those things and I'm really serious about it, like I think about, I use Celine Dion as a good example. Luther Vandross was another great example of someone who is fastidious about their vocal care. Broadway singers that I've talked to, fastidious about their vocal care, steaming and, making sure you're hydrated and making sure that you're taking care of it like a muscle, really getting it warmed
Right.
up. And then once I do that, I'm able to do really fantastic things that I'm proud of. And
Nice.
my belt has increased. Yeah. And I mean, because I sing big, I don't ever sing small. No one ever hires
Right.
me and says, can you sing this small song? They're always
Right.
like, we want the big power, bring it to us. And so if
Right.
I'm going to be able to keep that career, I want to have a voice for a long time.
Yeah. What about that? Just when you sang big, all I could think was, whoa, whoa, you got the best of my
Yes.
love.
That song is high, and I don't have a high voice. I can sing higher.
Yeah. It's
That song
almost
is
like
set
To Be
up.
Real. It's
Yeah, To
almost
Be
the
Real
same
is high.
song.
But to be real, if you cut it, like what I'll do I actually have a great combo that I do where I sing the beginning of Last Dance, and then instead of going into the faster part of Last Dance, it goes ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da, boom,
Right.
ba-da-da-da,
Oh,
boom,
cool.
and then I cut in this piece of Got to Be Real, and then I do like some of I'm Coming Out by Diana Ross. I have like
Sure.
this
Which was
little,
chic,
yeah,
really.
or even, yeah, or like for instance, there's a song, not Don't Leave Me This Way, but oh, I'll remember in a second. It's another great disco song that it just I love the Nightlife is a good one. Where
Alicia
they,
Brooks.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, where you can kind of go through some of these different, and people love it. They love the ride, you know.
Yeah.
Or like I did a performance where I sang some of those things, and then I sang Lizzo, and then I did some Weather Girls. Like I love to sing "It's Raining Men"
Right.
all day and all night because it fits my voice, you know, so comfortably.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of stuff I do that gets people like up and moving and ready to have some fun.
Nice. Are you familiar with Cheryl Lynn singing with Toto on Georgie Porgy?
I don't know about that. I didn't know about that
It's on
specifically.
Toto's first album. There's a song called Georgie Porgy, and she's the girl doing the
Like the
Georgie
Georgie
Porgy
Porgy
pudding
pudding
pie.
pie. That's who's doing that?
Cheryl
Oh
Lynn,
wow,
yeah.
because I know that song. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a phenomenal voice, and that's the thing. Those women have those just big old, just big beautiful voices.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't take much to make me happy. Oh,
I love Young Chaka too. I mean, I love like Sweet Thing from Rufus and
yeah.
Dance with Me and all
Tell
that
me
stuff.
something good. Yeah,
Yeah. But that was
those
a
are great.
Stevie song.
Yeah.
He wrote that.
Shaka's voice is also like Aretha's voice, and I don't know how you are with voices, but like I'm very cognizant of people's actual vocal range, note
Yeah.
based, and so like I can belt up to let's say I could belt up to an F, maybe a G if it's like a great day, but these like Aretha Franklin and Shaka, they're belting like B flats and C's and like those things are just so outside of my voice is so bottom
Yeah.
heavy. And so some of those songs, like I sing Natural Woman, but instead of singing it in the key of C, I sing it in the key of A. And it has
Okay,
all the
mine a third down.
texture. Yeah, but it has all the texture and everything you want. You make me feel.
Right.
And it
Sure.
has all the feelings, but I can't, I can do it once, but then for the rest of the set, I'm going to be a little more cautious. So those are the things I've really learned is
Yeah.
that yes, I have a big, powerful voice, but my big, powerful voice is set a few notes lower than some of the most iconic voices that people know. Even Whitney Houston, I mean, she is literally belting up into the
Well,
stratosphere.
her voice is very high. It
It's
can go very
so
high.
high, so
Yeah.
high. And even Beyonce, and that's the thing is the American audience, what they like to hear is that higher belt where that power is.
Yeah, it's funny because when you listen to certain songs, you don't hear it so. Like I love Aretha, the first song she did with the guys down in Muscle Shoals. I could never love a man
Oh
the way
yeah.
t- when she's like, go away, heartbreak. Like to me, I could see you singing that. The thing about Natural Woman, and I think we talked about this on the phone, is people hear her voice, so they're comparing you. Some of these side tracks that don't get played as much that
That
people
they don't
really
have
love.
that earworm that you can't exactly. Like that's why I don't sing a lot of Whitney Houston. I sing Saving All My Love because that's like there's something about it, and I sing Greatest Love of All, but really that's all that I will sing. I'm
Right.
never gonna go and perform I Have Nothing. You're never gonna see me singing I Will Always Love You. You're just not gonna see me doing it because you're losing the minute you start to sing. If you're not doing what they're doing, you're wrong and you've lost.
I love the duet she did with Teddy Pendergrass.
What's
If
that song?
hold you, touch you,
Oh,
make you my woman. There, if she comes low there, there's a da 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 da.
Jesus.
Hold me in your arms tonight. Oh, it's such a beautiful
I
song.
miss Whitney. Whitney's amazing.
Yeah, awesome.
But a really good example of someone, but God rest her soul, who didn't take care of her voice. And there's two things I think that Whitney did that I try to think about is number one, she never wrote any of her songs, and she never had like so when she was done, she had no say so in her masters, and she never wrote any of her music or had that kind of input, and she didn't take care of her voice. So those are two things I really think about because she's a huge idol of mine. And I'm like, how can I learn? Versus like Donna Summer, who did have more of a say so in some of the stuff that she did, but and took immaculate care of her voice. So God also who's passed. Two of my favorite singers, period, in life. So I think it's a journey of understanding how to be in this business, take care of your instrument, have enough thought to be able to know when you don't need to write everything, like you're saying with, you know,
Yeah.
Mandy and all that stuff, versus when you do need to have some say so and do need to be in creative input so that you have, you know, longevity financially into the business.
And maybe don't marry Bobby Brown.
Maybe.
That would be some.
Maybe. I don't think I'm going to run that problem, but yeah,
Yeah, no.
exactly.
But
Just thinking about what you're doing.
All right. Well, thanks so much. I'm really glad I had you on the show here and as the first one as well. And I'm going to
Yay.
put in the description of this video, I'm going to put your link so everyone can follow you and sub her channel as well and root for you
Thank you.
for when your record. Now, have you put out an album yet? You said you have
Well,
something on Spotify, but is that a
I
full?
do. I released an EP, which is a 7-song cover EP. I've released a full Christmas album, which is of course, you know, covers, which are Christmas songs. And then I've released about 5 singles, and 2 of those singles were originals. So an album to be right now, I'm thinking I want to do a few more singles. We're actually working on taking Ready or Not, the single that you heard, and doing a remake of it with a dance track and giving it a lighter feel, and also re-recording some of the vocals. And then also I would like to produce some more covers. I think that, you know, like you said, releasing more music that people can be like, oh wow, I love this song, but maybe they don't really know that it was an older song.
It drives traffic to you. That's the other thing people don't realize. It's like, you know, if you're going to come up with a first song, like come out with something that people know that's a great song, and like Naked Eyes, when they did something, always something there to remind me, because then their second song I like better. You give me promises, promises
Oh
down.
yeah,
Right, and he wrote that one. So they've come to his band. He made $1 million and all this notoriety for the Bacharach song, and then his other song comes out and he's still riding the wave.
That's true. Okay. So it could be like an inlet to where it gets you in a door, and then you could bring in your own music.
Yeah, always.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate all the advice and all the information. You're a resource, and I'm going to be using your phone number to call you and be like, hey, here's what.
Well, Christina, thanks so much for being on here. And everyone, like I said, and we'll keep in touch. And
Please.
Absolutely. And send me anything that you want to, like, if you're going to, like, I emailed you earlier, shoot me an email back of some links of the Spotify stuff. And I'll send you that, the songs that taught you how to throw up.
Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome.
You got it.
Thank
All right,
you.
take care. All righty, very good.
Bye.
So